I want to be a huge mirror. As a speaker, while I'm speaking, I want them to look at that mirror and ask the questions. What am I doing wrong? What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? Do I have to come to work or do I get to come to work? Because the reality is you can change anything that you're in control of if you just activate your resilience. Appreciate it. My name is Dee Hankins. What is now? Think about your life. My name is Dee Hankins. I appreciate the applause. My name is Dee Hankins. Thank y'all so much. Cool. What's up, everyone? My name is Dee Hankins. I'm an inspirational speaker. My expertise is resilience as I help individuals in challenge situations become more resilient. The biggest problem I help my audience solve is the feeling of being overwhelmed and losing control. You know, I grew up in foster care. I spent 18 years in foster care. I bounced around 12 different foster homes, 2 different group homes. By the time I was 12 years old, I never met my dad before in my life. My biological mom passed away in 2018. I just had a bunch of people behind me that showed me that I could do more, that I could be more, that I could be better, that I was made for more. My very first real job was Cutco. I was selling knives door to door in my neighborhood. I hated it, man. I hated it. I am not a salesman. I mean, if you're good at sales, it's a perfect job. The knives are butter. Like, these are top of the line knives. It's just, you know, imagine graduating high school and then knocking on your door, your best friend's door to try to sell knives to his mom and dad that you know. You know, you spent your whole years just being with them and being in their house, and now you're selling knives. I didn't have a car, so I was walking, I was carrying around knives in 100-degree weather. It was not good, man. I'm so impressed with human beings and their ability to bounce back. As a matter of fact, I just think about, what does that mean for me? Why me? And that is the question that really started this all off, my journey as a speaker. Who I call dad now, asked me a question after I graduated college as a foster, 18 years in foster. So just to give it context, I spent 18 years in foster care. I graduated college at 22 with honors, dean's list, president's list, all of that. And he asked me a question one time, why do some do and why do some don't? When I researched it and I looked into all the successful people and all the people we deem successful, a few things came into mind. Not everybody's story is sunshine and rainbows. Not everybody has a white picket fence and a trust fund. Some people really come up from zero and work their way little by little by little by little and make it happen. And I was one of those people that did that. There are hundreds of thousands of foster youth in the United States at any given time. Many of those foster youth end up in prisons, they end up on the streets, they end up in gangs, they end up doing all these things. When my dad asked why me, I knew where he was coming from. That was personal to me, it resonated with me. I'm no special from anybody else, I just want it. I want to be successful. I don't want foster care to define me. I don't want my skin color to define me. I don't want how I grew up to define me. I want my character and my actions to define me. And it helped me get to a place where I realized all of these things that were happening to me were not something that I chose. However, how I reacted to some of my challenges were things that I chose. So I started to really get a broad picture and zoom out and see the lens and the overview of my life and what I've done, what was in my control, what was out of my control, what was somebody else's fault, so on and so forth. As a speaker, most of my audience, when they come up to me, comment on the vulnerability, the transparency, the realness of the message and how I deliver it. They can see the passion behind it. They can see that I do really care about their life and that I want them to really succeed in life, and they have the power to do so. And when they see that and they feel that in the message and what I'm saying to them and how I'm saying it to them, the reality is I'm a stranger. Some of them just met me 60 minutes ago, but yet because of the way I delivered the message, because it hit home, because I'm talking about something that's real that we all share in common, which is the commonality of life throwing curveballs at us, they feel a sense of camaraderie. They feel a sense of humanity. A sense of their humanity has been brought back. It's not just a corporate talk where I'm talking to you as a teacher. I'm not really talking to you as a teacher. I'm talking to you as a mom. I'm talking to you as a wife. I'm talking to you as a husband. I'm talking to you as a dad or an uncle or a a son. I'm talking to you as a human being, and this real life that we're dealing with, these real curveballs that we're dealing with, that sometimes my audience feels like is insurmountable. I break it down for them to allow them to see hope, to allow them to hope again and have faith in that, and that they can do this. And to remind them that if you're 20, 30, 60, 70, that you're still alive. And if you're still alive, that means that your problems and your situations didn't defeat you. And if they didn't defeat you, that means that life has given you another opportunity to be amazing. As far as the message goes, it's knocking on the door of hope. I do often speak to students and teachers about hope, because hopelessness is what I feel the most dangerous place to be in. So hope is there's a light at the end of the tunnel. Hopelessness is I know there's a light at the end of the tunnel, I just don't care. And when you get to that point, I feel like that's when people are at their most dangerous. That's why we run away, drown our problems in drugs and alcohol. That's why we hurt ourselves. That's why we hurt other people. I try to help students get out of that hopelessness cause and let them know that they do matter. And teachers as well. Growing up in foster care, I oftentimes fell into this situation of hopelessness, where I didn't care about myself and I didn't care about other people. As a matter of fact, I felt like a piece of trash. It felt like nobody wanted me. When I got to that point, I really didn't care what I did. And it was easy for me to blame people for my situation. And so I try to prevent that. Growing up in foster care has given me a really big heart towards other foster students, because the statistics are very grim. And I just happen to be one of the many that have really accomplished a great deal of success, even though I was in the foster care system. And that is because I had a whole platoon of educators behind me that told me that I can make it. So I do my best to try to reciprocate that in school with my student development program. Education is very important to me. And I know that when students are in a state of hopelessness and they're going to school, they're not applying themselves. They're the students that are getting suspended. They're the students that are getting in fights. They're the students that are failing and not graduating and looking towards the streets for help. I know that together with teacher trainings, staff trainings, and student development, that we could prevent a lot of these students from ending up behind bars. There are some really great speakers out there and really awesome storytellers. And I myself as a speaker have learned from all of them. And I've taken bits and pieces of what they were really good at, and I fit it into my mold, my personality, the way that I feel like I've been designed to speak and to carry the stage. And when you can take and master the storytelling and align it with how you are, what your personality type is, your intonation, your stage presence, man, you can make a speech turn into an experience. And that's what I believe that I do. It's not just a presentation. It's just not a keynote or a workshop. It's an experience. It's a life experience. And more importantly, even though I'm up there telling my story, at the same time, simultaneously, I'm also telling your story as well. And that's what makes the difference. My name is Dee Hankins. If you want to be more resilient and take control of your life, book me for your next event at deehankins.com.